Hi everyone, it's Abby with The Bead Place, and today we're back with another video brought to you by Diakonos Designs. So Diakonos Designs is a bead store out of Wisconsin, and they have beautiful hand-curated designer kits that are so cool because they require no or limited tool usage to put them together. So if you saw our last video with Diakonos Designs, you saw me make these incredible stepping stones kits. Diakonos Designs was kind enough to offer a coupon code for our viewers then, and they are doing the same for this project as well. So they are sponsoring this video for the Galaxy bracelets, the Beaded Galaxy bracelets, and they are sponsoring it with a 20% off deal. So if you use the coupon Abbi20, and you can find the link down below. If you use the coupon Abbi20 at their website, you can save 20% off your kit. So their kits are beautifully assembled. They come with full instructions, so you can watch me show you how to make this bracelet today. And then when you get your kit, just refer to the instructions inside, or you can come back and watch this video. But I'm gonna be bringing you along with me today as I make one of the Beaded Galaxy bracelets. And before we get started, I just want to remind you to please give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps our channel out. Make sure to head on over to their Facebook page. The link will be in the description below, and give them a like. Check out their website. They've got really cool products, lots of kits, tons of options. Like this bracelet kit comes in 6 colors. Their prices are really reasonable. But yeah, make sure to check them out. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. So the kit comes with these materials, which is enough to make over an 8-inch bracelet. You can, of course, change the size of your bracelet. You can go up or down from this, but it comes with 16 inches of chain. We also have a variety of beads, and on their website, you can choose from a variety of bead styles. Some of the bracelet styles have multiple beads on each row. Some are the simple style like this. We also have a length of cord, and we have a clasp and 2 crimp covers in here that we might use in order to finish our bracelet off. I'll talk to you about the options when we get to that point. So our first step is to attach our chain onto our clasp. So I'm going to open up the package, and I'm going to set these little crimp covers aside. They're just little finishing beads. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out which one of these rings stays in my clasp and which one comes out of my clasp. So I'm going to open my clasp up, and I'm going to set this one aside for now. I'm going to find the break of this jump ring here, and I'm going to open this with my chain nose pliers. So if you don't have chain nose pliers, really any pliers will work as long as you're careful. However, using 2 chain nose pliers is going to prevent you from creating any nicks or damage to your jump rings. So you can see I've opened this. Now, anytime you're opening and closing a jump ring, you want to make sure that you're opening and closing it in this direction and never in this direction. So I've opened this, I'm going to set it to the side. I'm going to move my other materials to the side now, and then what I'm going to do is split my chain in half. So this is a 16-inch length of chain. Some of the kits come with 2 8-inch lengths of chain, but if yours has a 16-inch length of chain, you're just going to split it in half just by folding it in half, and then using your pliers to pull a link open. This Rolo chain is great because it's really sturdy open link chain, and it really is sturdy. So it's sturdy open link chain, which basically means that it pulls open. And I'm going to try not to knock all of the camera equipment down while I do this. But you can see you can just pull one of those links open and discard it. So we've got our 2 equal lengths of chain here. Now what we're going to do is string those into that open jump ring in our clasp. And then we will close it. So you're going to hold your jump ring. I like to hold the break like it's at 12 o'clock, and I like to bring the one pliers in sideways and the other pliers in up and down. So I'm going to hold as best I can. Since my clasp is in the way there, I'm going to bring them both in sideways this time. And I'm going to close it. So when you're closing a jump ring, you always want to close it in the same position that you opened it, but then also go in and double check to make sure that there are no, oh, my cat's coming to visit. It's fun filming at home. You want to check to make sure that there are no rough spots, and you want to make sure you've closed it all the way. So we'll give you a closer look at what we've done. Okay, so next we have our beads laid out, we have our cord. What we're gonna do is string our cord through the first row of our Rolo chains. We're gonna take one side and string it through those first couple of links. Now, if your clasp is different, just follow the directions included in your kit for this step, but pretty much everything else from here should be the same. So we're gonna string this to the very middle of the leather, and we are going to make sure that the ends are then even. So what we're going to do is take the right side of our cord. We are going to skip this next link of Rolo chain. We're going to go through the third Rolo chain here, and then what we're going to do is add a bead. So we are going to add our bead on, and then we're going to take the cord and we're going to bring it through that other third Rolo chain link. And then make sure that the top of your cord stays where it is. So we're just pulling out the loop from the right side. So you want to leave a little bit of slack here. You want to make sure that you have a good tension. We want it to be fairly flexible, but we don't want this over here kind of gaping out. You'll kind of find the right tension as you go. So next what we're going to do is flip the bracelet over. We're going to take the right side, which is the side we haven't worked with yet, and we are going to bring the leather through that third Rolo link, over the bead, and then through the third Rolo link on the other side. So we're going kind of opposite the direction that it is coming from. So we're going to flip it back around and give you a closer look. So next we're going to take the right side cord again. So that's this cord here. We are going to skip the forward facing Rolo link, and we are going to go through that next up and down kind of sideways Rolo link. So again, we are going to pick up one of our beads. We're going to string it on the leather cord. And if your kit has multiple beads, obviously you'll be doing multiple beads during this step, but we're just kind of doing the simple version here. So we have that strung on. We are going to go through the Rolo link opposite the one we just came through. So we're always skipping that kind of flat one, and we're going to go through this next one here. All right, so again, we're gonna flip that bracelet over and grab the top cord on the right side. It's the one that we haven't done yet, so this one here. And we are going to go through that Rolo link, and we are going to go over the back of the bead and then through the Rolo link opposite, the one that we just came through. Now, if that Rolo link is giving you a little bit of trouble and you're having a hard time getting the cord through, what you can do is press it down with your hand, or you can cut a sharper tip on your cord. Just do what feels right to make it a little bit easier for you. So pull it tight. And as we work, what we're wanting to do is kind of readjust our tension. We'll want to make sure that these little loops that we're making are all the same size. We want to make sure that it's not bunching up, and we want to kind of wiggle it a little bit this way and this way to make sure that everything is sitting nicely the way we want it to sit. So we'll bring it in for another closer look. So I'm going to flip it around and, keep doing the same thing over and over again. I'm going to take this top cord here and bring it through, bring it over the back of the bead. So there is an obvious front and back to this bracelet, but that makes it even easier whenever we're keeping track of which direction we are taking the cord. And if you notice that your cords are crossing or they look a little bit funny, just undo your last step and it will kind of be obvious what happened and you will be able to correct it. And again, as we work, just keep adjusting the tension. Make sure all of these little loops are the same size, and you'll kind of find your own groove for this. So we keep working until you have a size that you think is going to be appropriate for your wrist. And notice we started with this side of the clasp intact. That's because it's going to make it a lot easier for us to gauge the size when we start with the biggest side of the clasp. So once you are a little bit shy of what you need for your wrist size, you will want to stop, and I will show you how to finish it off. Okay, one thing that I want to show you real quick before I go too far is that if you have uneven tension and you've already kind of gone too far to go back, there is one thing that I can share with you to correct that. Basically, what we're going to kind of do is just pinch and pull where we need the tension to be adjusted. So I want to kind of tighten up this area here so that it matches this tension. So what I'm going to do is pull beneath where my tension needs to be corrected. So you always kind of have to work the tension out towards the unfinished end. It's really difficult to work tension the other way and kind of get rid of the loose areas, but just try your best to even everything out. And you can kind of figure if you've got one side that's bulging out a little bit bigger than the other side, you can kind of work that tension through the bracelet like an S. So like if this side was pulled out way too far, I would then take this right here and pull it out, and then this and pull it out, and then this and pull it out. But just kind of use your best discretion and try to figure out how you can make it look uniform and even. And if it's not uniform and even, the more you wear it, the more everything will kind of even itself out. And after a couple of wears, it'll end up looking uniform and even. Okay, so I have finished my bracelet so that it is about my wrist size. What I'm going to do is make sure that I've finished about a link before where I would attach my last jump ring. Then what I'm going to do is make sure that I am going to be utilizing those links in the correct direction. So I'm going to look at the Rolo links that I started the bracelet with, that I put through the jump ring to begin with, and I'm going to make sure that the last links are facing that same direction. If they're not, you want to just, go one bigger or one smaller than that. What I'm going to do then is detach my excess Rolo chain, and how I'm going to do that is I'm going to use my pliers just like I did before. So I'm going to grab right inside that last link there. Let's see if I can get you focused. There we go. Gonna grab inside that last link there and pull it open. And I'm going to match the same thing on the other side. All right. So find that opening and detach it. Now when we're opening these, we're actually breaking all of the jump ring rolls that we've put into place, because when we open and close a jump ring, like we said before, we want to make sure that we're opening and closing it in this direction. Well, because these Rolo links are made out of like a half round wire, you're never going to be able to get them open in this direction without a lot of mangling of your chain. So you actually do want to pull them open like this. So into like a C shape, like this, so that you're able to actually get them open. And then we end up with our last two open links here. So we're going to take that jump ring that we discarded earlier, not discarded, set aside, and we are going to hold it so that the break of the jump ring is at 12 o'clock. We're going to bring one of our pliers in sideways, and we're going to bring the other pliers in up and down just like this. We're going to open the jump ring like that. We're going to slip it into those last two links like that. And then we're going to go ahead and close it in that same direction that we opened it. Always, when we're opening and closing jump rings, we double check to make sure that it looks closed from the top as well. Make sure that you're gonna kind of feel it, make sure it's not sharp, and then make any adjustments as needed. Now, before we do anything with this leather, we wanna make sure that the bracelet fits. So wrap it around your wrist, make sure it's a good fit for you, and mine is. So now we're gonna talk about the different ways to finish off this leather cord. On the sample bracelets that were sent to me from Diakonos Designs, you can see two different options for finishing off these bracelets. We have this cute beaded dangle, which is I think what I'm gonna do on mine. And then we also have an option that's a little bit more plain, which is great if you're doing a masculine design or something that you want to be a little bit more simple. And you can see that they've utilized those end beads there, and they've just glued those on. So if you're finishing off your bracelet in this way, what you'd want to do is pull your, pull your last cord out extra far so that it's tight, and then trim and apply your glue and your end bead on, and then kind of pull the slack back together so that it finishes right where you need it to finish. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it with that cute little beaded dangle here instead, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So next, what I'm going to do to create that cute little beaded dangle is I'm going to take one of my sides of the leather cord and bring it through the last Rolo links, the ones that attach into my jump ring. So it now looks like this. So after I've done that, I'm going to take both of my cords together and tie an overhand knot. I'm going to try to cinch the overhand knot as close to the top of the cording as possible. So an overhand knot is just where you make a loop in the cord like this, so overlap it, and then we're going to bring the tail ends through that loop. Now I like to kind of situate my knot to make sure that I don't have a lot of extra overlaps, but you can of course make your knot look however you want it to look. So I'm going to cinch this up pretty close to the top of my bracelet, and I want to make sure that my tension here is even as well, so my knot's not shooting off to one side versus another. So I'm going to tighten this knot And then I'm gonna pull each strand individually, and that's really gonna tighten the knot. So I'm gonna make sure I'm happy with my finishing tension here. Oops, there we go. Looks like I tied that a little bit too tight on the one side. So in order to correct that, I'm just going to kind of push some of that tension back up into the knot and then pull down here on the one side and correct it. There we go. All right, so now to create that beaded dangle look, I'm going to take a couple of my beads and string them on to the ends of my cord. Now you can get as creative here as you want, but I think I'm just going to keep it simple and do one bead on one and one bead on the other. I am going to vary the length a little bit, so I'm going to have one dangle lower than the other. So to finish that off, you can either tie that overhand knot underneath, just like we did before, or what we can do is glue on those cool finishing beads. So I'm going to show you both. That way you can kind of get an idea of how those cool finishing beads work in case you'd like to do the other style of bracelet. So I'm going to tie my beads on with my overhand knots. There we go. Oh. They ended up about the same length. Oh well. So now what I'm gonna do is trim my ends of my leather cord, and you can use a scissors or a wire cutter, whatever you have. And just make sure you're leaving enough that we can get those little finishing beads on. Now I'm going to show you what these little beads look like. They just have a hole on one side and they're closed on the other, or you could use crimp covers and attach them right onto the end of the leather. A lot of folks like using super glue with leather. If you have one of those fast drying super glues, you want to do a test on a piece of your cording that you've cut off to make sure that it is not going to make your leather really brittle or discolor it. So I've just applied a little bit of glue directly onto the end. You can, of course, use a scrap piece of wire or a toothpick if you'd like in order to make it a little cleaner. And then what I'm going to do is just apply that finishing bead right on the end there. And so that's the exact same technique that was done on this bracelet here to apply the finishing bead right at the end to eliminate that dangle. So again, I'm going to do the same thing on the other dangle. I'm going to apply a little bit of glue. Try to avoid getting it all over the place. But as you may or may not know, I have a tripod and a camera between me and what I'm working on, so sometimes things get a little bit messy. So now what we're going to do is let this dry for the allotted dry time that your glue recommends. And then we've got a cool finished Beaded Galaxy Bracelet thanks to Diakonos Designs. Thank you so much everyone for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. It really helps our channel out more than you know. Make sure to share this video with your friends who are interested in making jewelry. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions or if you just want to say hi. I do my best to respond to all of the comments that anyone might leave. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you hear laughter, I'm filming from home, and that's my daughter in the background watching cartoons. Anyway, make sure that you've liked, commented, subscribed, and shared. Also, make sure to check out the Diakonos Designs Facebook page. They were so kind to sponsor this video and provide the materials that we've used today. Also, make sure to check out their website. It's linked below. You can get 20% off the kit that we used today using the code Abbi20. check out our Patreon if you'd like to support this channel even further. We have new merch underneath the video. You can see all kinds of new merch with kind of a channel inside joke. So yeah, thank you so much for your support. I hope you're all safe and well, and thank you for watching.